Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. An absolute pleasure to be speaking to you today. Maybe you could kick off with a brief introduction to this really powerful and unnerving film, The Good Nurse. What can audiences expect when they watch it?
Well, The Good Nurse is the story of Charlie Cullen, a serial killer who killed around 400 people in the American healthcare system. But even more than that, it's a story about Amy Loughren, who was the nurse who stopped him.
You'd think, sort of knowing the gravity of his crimes, that this is a story we'd all know, but actually it feels like it's been sort of kept under wraps, I guess, as we discover through the film, for some specific reasons. So how did you come across the story, and why were you compelled to put this to screen?
Well, very fortunately, someone sent me Charles Graeber's book, The Good Nurse, right when it was 10 years ago, right when I was starting out, and asked me if I wanted to pitch to adapt it. And I read the book and sort of had my socks blown off, because I'm the kind of person that definitely knows about prolific serial killers. And I was very surprised that I'd never heard of him, that it happened in my lifetime, and also the manner in which it happened. So yeah, that's how it came to me.
I feel like with stories like these, perhaps there's a temptation to maybe over-dramatize them, but there's something, it's almost more like a slow burn thriller. Like, the tension is kept there, it's all very understated, but in some ways it makes it even more unnerving, the way it's put together. So where did you start, and what was your approach, and what did you want to achieve with the approach you took?
Well, when we tell true stories, with that comes a great responsibility to stay true to the story. And clearly there would be temptations to make classic thriller moves to make it even more scary. But it would also be a false path. So therefore we quite fast decided to get rid of all that and just narrow in on the humanity of this, because the most scary thing about this story is that it's true, and that it actually happened. And the only way we can learn from the story is to tell it as it unfolded. If we started to make it more fascinating, we would ask the audience to leave the truth, which wasn't the point. The point was to remind everybody that we do have a responsibility in the systems we live in, to stand up against it when it's lacking humanity. And that's what Amy did, and that was our pledge doing this film.
And the cast just is so perfectly pitched. I mean, obviously with the main stars, but also all the supporting cast. So how did you put all these people together? And, did you have Eddie Redmayne and Jessica Chastain in mind? And were you even blown away seeing their performances? And like I was saying, very understated, but really, really capturing the two characters.
Well, I think Zero Dark 30 was the first film I ever watched at the 3 p.m. show, and then again at the 5 p.m. show. I was blown away by Jessica's coldness and humanity at the same time. The way that she was able to carry honesty in a very protected way in that film just made me want to work with her from, before I got into film school. Eddie was so given when that idea came up. It was like, yes, that's the only way to do this, because Eddie has a humanity and a mysterious way of portraying humanity, and his precision was there. So it was like a dream cast. Now, I was the luckiest director in the world. Even luckier, it was, well, pandemic wasn't lucky, but the circumstances we were shooting under was because we could meet in my apartment for weeks and rehearse and go through the script again and again and again, and to be with two capacities like them to help us humanize the story even more was clearly a great pleasure. On top of that, the rest of the cast, from Noah and Namdi to Kim Dickens, who does a great part, to the young girls who are just wonderful, they were all great to work with, and clearly so talented.
And just very quickly, because I'm also almost out of time, but what do you hope the impact of this film to be? Because, of course, we see the insidious nature of this one individual, but far more frightening is just how broken the system is. And that's from different angles. Jessica's character, Amy, she can't get the health insurance she needs, but the fact that because of the profit motive, they have the hospitals have an incentive to cover this up. So what do you hope the impact to be?
Well, hopefully the audience will be reminded of the responsibility they have in the systems we carry ourselves in. I mean, the American healthcare system is one thing, but the Danish welfare system is also full of problems, and once in a while will turn against humanity when it gets too systematic. So hopefully we will be reminded that it's actually worth doing a difference.
Thanks very much. I think I'm out of time, but thank you for sharing all that with me, and can't wait for everyone else to see The Good Nurse. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.